राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये। श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की, श्रीमती राधा रानी की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। उपस्थित भगवत कथा अनुरागी पधारे हुए भक्त वृंद, इस सभा को परम सुशोभित करने वाले हमारे अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कृष्ण भावनामृत संघ इस्कॉन के वरिष्ठ भक्तगण, दूर दूर से
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga. I welcome all the senior Vaishnavas of International Society for Krishna Consciousness to the fifth day Katha of 307th Shrimad Bhagavatam Katha. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude and welcome to all the devotees who have assembled here on this Zoom platform and also who have assembled on Facebook and YouTube. I extend my special gratitude and warm welcome to Makwana family who have organized this beautiful katha in the loving memory of Bechar Bhai Makwana. So I extend my heartfelt welcome and gratitude to Parvativen Makwana, her son and daughter-in-law Dayal Bhai and Vimla Ben, and further their sons Keyur Bhai, Kokila Ben, and Ankur Bhai and Bhumi Ben, and their daughter Misty. So once again, I welcome each one of you to the fifth day's Katha. Hare Krishna, Radhe Shyam. Today is a very auspicious day, which is Sri Radha Ashtami, the appearance day of Srimati Radha Rani. This day is considered as utmost significant and utmost auspicious day because it is upon this day that most merciful Srimati Radha Rani appeared on this day, and this is celebrated with huge fervor in Barsana. So in this year 2021, I want to offer you all a formula. So I want to share a formula with you, and which is that if there is life in the material body, it means it is a direct indication that in that body's heart, for sure, Supreme Lord is sitting. Be it any form, that maybe you're humans or plant, animals or trees or anything. So long as you have life in your body, it means that there is Supreme Lord. So wherever there is life, there is Paramatma, and wherever you see that if a living entity has a tendency to love Sri Krishna or the Lord, it means there is Radha Rani. So if there is a desire to love the Lord, for sure there is Radha Rani. So just in case there is a feel and strong desire to love Krishna intensely, it indicates that strong Radha Tattva, strong Radha element is there in you. So the desire to love Krishna is nothing but Haladini potency, which is Srimati Radha Rani. And without the mercy of Srimati Radha Rani, without the blessings of Srimati Radha Rani, it is not just difficult or a daunting task, but absolutely impossible to attain Lord Shri Krishna.
रद भीष्म मुख्ये अलक्षितो न सहसा पुरुषस्य तस्य सद्यो वशीकरणचुर नमनन्त शक्तिं तं राधिका चरण रे नु अनुस्मरामि। आज राधाष्टमी के इस पावन
So on the pious and auspicious occasion of Srimati Radha Rani's appearance day, Shri Radha Ashtami, we are talking about Shri Barsana Dham, her mercy and blessings, but in special sense and in special effort, we look forward to offer our obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radha Rani. And why do we do that? Why do we offer our obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radha Rani? You see, understand this. It is absolutely a humongous task to attain Lord Shri Krishna. Very difficult task, just like the shloka on your screen. So it is not that easy. It's highly complicated a task. It is absolutely tough, challenging to attain Lord Krishna. Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati Maharaj has made us recall this, that Lord Krishna, such Lord Krishna who is beyond reachable limits to even Brahma and many other demigods. So the 12 top level Mahajans, amongst those 12 Mahajans, you see, it is not that easy to attain Lord Krishna. Forget about attaining Lord Krishna, even having a glimpse of Sri Krishna is very tough, extremely tough for the 12 Mahajans. Even the darshan of Sri Krishna is rare, an opportunity to many of the great peoples. So here you see in this shloka given by Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, so Lord is referred to as somebody who stays in Pur, means city. So you see, you might have got to know so many meanings of Pur, but here let's talk something unique about Pur. Here refers to, so in Vrindavan, there is something what is called as Kunj, then we have Nikunj, and then we have Nibrit Nikunj. So who stays in Kunj, therefore Purush,
में शयन करते हैं, इसलिए कृष्ण को पुरुष कहते हैं। अब रात दिन राधा के उस कुंज में पड़ा रहता है। बैठो दूरो वह कुंज कुटीर में, बैठो पलोटत राधिका पाईने, और राधा रानी के चरणों में निवेदन करते रहता है।
and he keeps on making a request at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, You see, it is very tough a task to locate and to identify Shri Krishna. So it's very tough and not an easy task to have darshans of Sri Radha Krishna because Sri Krishna most of the time stays in Sri Radha Nikunj. Now, if asked, has somebody made an attempt to attain Lord Krishna or to have his darshan? Yes, Lord Brahma attempted it with all his four brains and four times the capacity. Still, Brahmaji was not able to have darshans of Sri Krishna in an easy manner. It was not very easy for Brahmaji to have darshans of Sri Krishna. Not even Shiva, nor Sukdevji, nor Naradji, nor Bhishmaji could have darshans of the Lord in an easy manner. Imagine such great personalities. Such great personalities are also not in a position to easily have darshans of the Lord. Then think about people like you and me. But Prabodhanand Saraswati Maharaj has given us one easy solution. So, to attain Lord Krishna, to have darshan of Krishna, is certainly not an easy job. However, and then to talk about people like you and me who are householders, imagine Bhishma Pitama who followed Brahmacharya so strongly. Naradji left everything. Sukdevji right from the birth left entire family. These personalities gave up so many things and still they were not able to attain Lord. Then imagine people like you and me who are householders and not in a position to give up many things. How can we go on to attain Sri Krishna? So Prabodhanand Saraswati Maharaj offers a solution that there is a solution to attain Lord Krishna. So Prabodhanand Saraswati Maharaj says, not just that you can attain Lord Krishna, but you can also control, you can exercise a control over Lord Krishna. You can make him dance to your tunes. For that, you have to accomplish one task. And what is that task? That you must have, you must smear your forehead and head with the dust of the lotus feet of Sri Radha Rani. So, in case you want to take control of Sri Krishna immediately, instantly, you must go and get the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and smear your head and forehead with that dust. This dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani has immense power, enormous capacity to control Sri Krishna. And hence Prabodhanand Saraswati Maharaj says that I offer my obeisances and again to the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radha Rani. You see, the story goes like this in Vraj Vrindavan, that once it so happened that Lord Sri Krishna was going around in Vraj Vrindavan, that some of his friends said, "Oh Krishna, you should not go particularly there." Lord Krishna said, "Why should I not be going over there?" To which his friends replied that the gopis have on purpose spread such a dust that the moment you put your feet on the dust, you will fall under the strong control of Srimati Radharani. Listening to this, Sri Krishna offered Danvat Pranam to his friends, and his friends were surprised at this gesture and said, "Why are you doing Danvat Pranam to us?" Because Sri Krishna said that I was looking forward for this opportunity, such a solution wherein I could do my Abhishek from the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radha Rani. You see, the story also is popular in Vrindavan that Lord Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, is also all independent is not under the command of anyone. But you see, the fact is, an individual cannot stay too happy staying all independent, all by himself. So once it so happened that this supreme independence to supreme personality of Godhead started getting irritated with independence, and that he had this desire that I must be controlled by somebody. I must be, under the control, and I must dance to the tune of someone.
लेकिन जो स्वतंत्र है, जो स्वतंत्र से बिजनेस करता है, वो तो बेचारा भाव घटा बढ़ा, इतना सेल हुआ, इतना स्टॉक रह गया, वो तो इसी चक्कर में पड़ा रहता है। इसलिए किसी के अंडर में हो जाना, किसी के सानिध्य में हो जाना, ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा सुख है।
So you see, being subordinate to someone is also in itself a strong pleasure. So Lord Krishna now was getting pissed off with independence. Now he asked all the Vedas to come before him. So the Vedas which we have today in the form of books, in real sense of the term, this is the bookish manifestation of the Vedas. So just as we have Srimati Tulsi Devi, Shri Ganga Maharani, we also have their form as well, which is continuously engaged in the service of the Lord. And Lord Krishna asked the Vedas to come before him, and he said that I am not liking this independence. I want to be dependent and subordinate. What do I do? So all the Vedas in one tone said that if you have a devotee or somebody who loves you the most, if you can smear your forehead with the dust of such lotus feet, you will fall under the control of that devotee or lover.
और सास कंट्रोल में नहीं रहती या बहू कंट्रोल में नहीं रहती या कोई स्वयं को कंट्रोल में नहीं रहता, तो बहुत सारे उपाय करने के बाद फिर किसी बाबा के पास जाते हैं। उस्ताद बाबा रजा बंगाली, दाढ़ी वाले बाबा, चमत्कारिक बाबा। फिर बाबा कहते हैं कि चिंता मत करो बच्चा, ये भस्म मैं तुझे देता हूं, ये भस्म उसके मस्तक पर डाल देना, वशीकरण हो जाएगा, तुम उसे अपने वश में कर लोगे। खैर ये बाबे तो ठीक नहीं होते, बाबा तो बाबा ही होता है, वो सब कलयुग का पाखंड ही समझिए। लेकिन हाँ, भगवान कृष्ण परम स्वतंत्र,
Krishna, who is all independent, and imagine, in order to have spell, a control,
के चरणों की रज जो कृष्ण को तुरंत वश में कर देती है।
Srimati Radha Rani. And hence Prabodhanand Saraswati Maharaj says in the second line, Tam Radhika Charan Renu Aham Asmarami. So I offer my pranam to the lotus feet of such Radha Rani. So you see, in India, we are celebrating Hindi Divas. So you see, the language Hindi has its own craze. You see, language is the medium to understand the mood of the Lord and also to understand and get hold of Lord. You see, our acharyas went on to get languages married also, the words as well. And imagine Sanskrit is Maharani, the eternal queen of all languages.
संस्कृत की सहोदर जो बहन है मौसी हमारी लगती है, वो है हिंदी।
So, the sister of Sanskrit is Hindi.
हिंदी बोलकर, हिंदी भाषा को समझकर हमें गर्व महसूस करना चाहिए।
You see, we should feel proud of speaking Hindi, though we must all also know Hindi, Sanskrit.
पकड़ा जा सकता है नेक्स्ट टू संस्कृत कौन सी लैंग्वेज है? हिंदी।
So, actually, the mood of
इंग्लिश तो सबसे दूर खड़ी है, संस्कृत से सबसे लास्ट में
the mood of Sanskrit can be caught with understanding of Hindi also.
के भाव को पकड़ ही नहीं सकते। अब बताइए, राधा रानी महाभाव स्वरूपा, और ये महाभाव स्वरूपा राधा रानी को इंग्लिश में कैसे? एक बार मैं प्रवचन कर रहा था और कुछ इंग्लिश समाज बैठा था, और आप सब जानते हैं मैं हिंदी में ही बोलता हूं, तो बीच में एक ट्रांसलेटर को बिठाया गया जो ट्रांसलेट कर रहे थे। तो मैंने प्रवचन करते करते कह दिया कि भागवत का रसास्वादन होना चाहिए। तो जो ट्रांसलेटर था वो बेचारा मौन हो गया। मैंने कहा बोलो, बेचारा बोल ही नहीं पाया। बोले रसास्वादन को मैं क्या बोलूं? तो मैंने उसे शुरू प्रवचन में कहा कि जब रसास्वादन शब्द को आप ट्रांसलेट नहीं कर सकते तो आप इंग्लिश में रसास्वादन, साक्षात रसास्वादन क्या खाक करोगे? इंग्लिश में इंफॉर्मेशन मिल सकती है जो बहुत अच्छी चीज है, लेकिन आस्वादन जो है वो तो संस्कृत और नेक्स्ट टू संस्कृत जो भाषा है वो हिंदी भाषा में हो सकता है, और हम सब हिंदुस्तानी हैं। तो आज हिंदी दिवस भी है, इसलिए अब मैं ये यहाँ पर आप देखिए नीचे श्लोक में चरण, ये चरण शब्द को ही आप ले लीजिए। अब देखो ये चरण शब्द यदि राधा और कृष्ण के लिए इस्तेमाल होते हैं तो इसे चरण कहते हैं, और यदि किसी के कार्य में इसको अड़ा दो तो इसको टांग कहते हैं। चलते हुए किसी कीचड़ में धंस जाए तो इसे पैर कहते हैं। वहां ऐसा नहीं कहेगा इसका चरण फंस गया, इसका पैर फंस गया। छू लो तो चरण, अड़ा दो तो टांग, कीचड़ में धंस जाए तो पैर, फिसल जाए तो पांव। वेरिएशन देखो आप एक शब्द का, फिसल जाए तो पांव, आगे बढ़ाना हो तो कदम, आगे बढ़ाना हो तो कदम, चलते हुए राह में चिन्ह छोड़ दिया तो उसे पद कहते हैं, और यदि वो बाप मारे तो लात, बाप मारता है तो वो लात हो जाती है। उसमें घुंघरू बांध दो तो उसे पग कहते हैं। यदि गधे के द्वारा, हमारे पीछे गधे के द्वारा मिल जाए तो दुलत्ती कहते हैं। गधा यदि मारे तो दुलत्ती। खाना नहीं चाहिए लेकिन इस्तेमाल करते ना नॉनवेज खाने वाले, यदि खाने के लिए मंगाए तो उसे टंगड़ी कहते हैं। और खेलने में इस्तेमाल करे तो इसे लंगड़ी कहते हैं। एक ही पग चरण। भाषा का आनंद देखो आप भक्तों, कैसे भाषा से हम भाव को पकड़ सकते हैं। अब इनमें मैं लगभग कितने 10 एक शब्द कहा चरण के। चरण को छुओ, छुओ तो चरण, अड़ा दो तो टांग, कीचड़ में धंस जाए तो पैर, फिसल जाए तो पांव, आगे बढ़ाओ तो कदम, राह में छोड़ दिया तो पद, प्रभु के हो तो पाद, प्रभुपाद, बाप मारे तो लात, गधा मारे तो दुलत्ती, घुंघरू बांधो तो पग, खाने के लिए इस्तेमाल करो तो टंगड़ी, और खेलने में इस्तेमाल करो तो लंगड़ी। मतलब एक चरण को भी कितना स्पेसिफाई किया गया, और इसी चीज को इंग्लिश में बोलना हो तो राधा रानी के चरण छुए तो ये पंकज प्रभु क्या कहेंगे? लेग, लोटस फीट, ज्यादा से ज्यादा ये कहेंगे। ये जितने अर्थ बताया उसमें इंग्लिश यदि इस्तेमाल करो तो लेग लेग यही होगा। इसका अर्थ ये है, मैं इंग्लिश की बुराई नहीं कर रहा हूं, क्योंकि इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज है, इसी से पूरी दुनिया चल रही है। लेकिन मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं, रसास्वादन करने के लिए संस्कृत, या ज्यादा से ज्यादा संस्कृत ना है तो हिंदी, फिर आगे है ना हम शास्त्र से दूर होते चले जाएंगे, हम शास्त्र के मर्म से, उस भाव से दूर होते जाएंगे। क्या मुझे इंग्लिश नहीं आती होगी, लेकिन मैं कसम खा कर बैठा हूं, मैं कहीं इंग्लिश नहीं बोलता। थोड़ा बहुत तो मैं जान ही लेता हूं, बोल ही लेता हूं, लेकिन जानबूझकर नहीं बोलता। मैं क्यों इंग्लिश को स्वीकार करूं, इंग्लिश वाले हमारे हिंदी स्वीकार करें? क्यों? क्योंकि शास्त्र को हिंदी में जितना पकड़ा जा सकता है, समझा जा सकता है, उतना और कोई लैंग्वेज में नहीं। खैर, आज हिंदी दिवस है तो हिंदी भाषा की महिमा चरण को लेकर आपके बीच में प्रस्तुत की। कुल मिलाकर आज श्रीमती राधा रानी का आविर्भाव दिन है।
So today is the appearance day of Srimati Radha Rani. So let us now engage ourselves in understanding the huge glories and pastimes of Srimati Radha Rani. You see, we in our lives very much need Radha Rani and her blessings. You see, the kind of bhakti and devotion we are all engaged in under the supreme guidance of Srila Prabhupada. You see, if we look into understand the reasons behind such a wonderful Iskcon movement to have become possible, it is only because of the mercy of Srimati Radharani. Srila Prabhupada has himself written about this, that when he was young and used to stay in Calcutta, then many a saints, sadhus and sages used to come in his colony, and his father, who was also a strong, staunch devotee, his father engaged himself in serving the sages and saints, and after having served the sages and sadhus, he used to ask for blessings from sadhus that his son Abhay Charan have and enjoy the mercy and blessings of Srimati Radharani. So such was the prayer of father of Srila Prabhupada. So had he developed himself into the devotee of Sri Krishna, he would have been able to only liberate himself. But because he became a devotee of Srimati Radha Rani, he was able to spread the Bhagvat, the Bhagvat system throughout the world, because you see, it is absolutely inseparable that you have the mercy and blessings of Srimati Radharani, and despite having that, that you can continue not to spread that love, devotion, and also the message of Shrimad Bhagavatam across the world, across the people. In order to attain the Lord, it is very, very important to understand God by way of element. And in order to understand Sri Krishna in terms of element, it
भगवान से प्रेम हो सकता है, न भगवान की प्राप्ति हो सकती है। और यह भागवत
engage in devotion, dedication, and affection towards Sri Krishna. And if you have decided that you need to understand, you want to sing Shrimad Bhagavatam, you want to speak and utter Bhagavatam, then it is quite essential that you have the mercy and blessings, you enjoy the mercy and blessings of Srimati Radharani. I always and very often say this, that you see, the Masons have their lead god as, so the prime deity, the prime god for Masons is Vishwakarma Ji. And for the cobblers, if you see, cobblers always put Sant Ravidas Ji. So for the cobblers, their prime deity is Raidas Ji or Ravidas Ji. For Masons, it is Vishwakarma Ji. Then imagine those who spread the message of Bhagavatam, those who want to understand Bhagavatam, who is their prime Lord? One and only Srimati Radharani. Sri Sukdev Goswami ji, the Bhagavatam that he spoke, you see, the fact that he learned Bhagavatam from Sri Vedyas ji is just an exhibitory fact. But the fact is, Sud Goswami actually went on to imbibe Srimad Bhagavatam, and that he went on to give this entire message to the world became possible only by way of blessings and mercy of Srimati Radha Rani. So, because it is Radha Ashtami day, let us try to understand, some of the things related to Srimati Radha Rani. You see, today I'm not in the mood of too much of preaching. I want to talk about Radha Rani. You see, today is the day of singing, celebration.
अनेक हरि भक्तों के द्वारा आप लोगों के द्वारा राधा कृष्ण का अभिषेक हुआ, इनका दर्शन भी करेंगे, आरती कीर्तन उत्सव मनाएंगे आज। सो कवि कर्णपुर बहुत बड़े संत हुए, उन्होंने बहुत बड़ा मोटा थोथा ग्रंथ लिखे हैं। उनमें एक ग्रंथ है,
So one of the texts is Anand Vrindavan Champu. Gee, Sukdev Goswami ji just had 7 days to help liberate Parikshit ji. So he could not elaborate much. But you see, Jiv Goswami wrote the text Gopal Champu. What wonderful pastimes he has written about Sri Krishna. Sri Kavikarnu wrote Vrindavan Champu. So these are all intimate pastimes of Sri Krishna. You see, there are relevant qualifications needed in order to understand and read these texts. So these texts must be understood under the guidance of a spiritual master. So poet Kavi Karpur presented a very beautiful katha in Anand Champu that Srimati Radharani has been married and she stays in Javat. And in the heart of Srimati Radharani, she is pining for Sri Krishna. She is missing Sri Krishna. You see, I want to share something with you. When the lover are together, the lover and the beloved are together, you see, they enjoy their company. But when Sri Krishna leaves Radharani behind, Radharani views Sri Krishna in everything. Today, when Sri Krishna is not with Srimati Radharani, then looking at a dark complexioned an object, Srimati Radharani, you see, believing it to be Sri Krishna, she engages in dialogue and conversation, believing that that object is Shyam Sundar. So, you see, when dusk falls, it becomes darker, and she believes that Shyam Sundar has arrived, and then she starts talking and engaging in dialogues with the evening which has gone dark. राधा तो कृष्ण को देने के लिए आई है, उनका तो सर्वस्व कलम ने सुना। The mood of Radharani is just only to offer everything to Sri Krishna. You see, we should learn something from this mood of Srimati Radharani. Oh Shyam Sundar, oh Krishna, says Radharani, I have always taken from you, and that I've never gone tired asking from you. I've never gone tired of asking things from you, taking things from you. I have got a great fortune of being with you, but You had been so
आपने मैंने
merciful
सब कुछ लिया
and
लेकिन हे
kind
श्याम
that you
सुंदर
kept on offering
मैं
me
आपको
over
कुछ
and
देने के
over
लिए
and again.
मैं आपको
But
कुछ
so
देने के लिए
unfortunate I am that I
देखिए
could
भगवान
never offer
हमें हमारे लिए
anything
नहीं
to
सोचना
you.
चाहिए
Never I could
कि
offer
भगवान
anything
ने
to
कितना
you.
दिया
Such a great mood, dear devotees,
किसी गांव में हमारे बाप
right?
दादा रहते थे
And
मलमली करते थे
we must also
वो
think
जाकर
that
अमेरिका
you
में
see,
पहुंचा
Lord has given us
धन
so
का
much.
ढेर खड़ा कर दिया
And what have
कितना
we
कितना
given
सुख प्रदान कर
back
गया
to the Lord?
क्या हमें भगवान से ये कहना नहीं चाहिए कि हे श्याम
Should we
आपने
not
इतना दिया
offer
हम
our
लेते
thanks
रहे
and gratitude be expressed towards the Lord
हम
that you have given
लेते
us a
देते
lot?
रहे लेकिन कृष्ण आप देते देते नहीं थके
So it's like we have gone
कहानी
tired
कहती
of
है
receiving offerings
मेरी
from the Lord,
रोटी मेरे
but
देश
Sri
को
Krishna has not
तूने
gone
कभी
tired
खाने नहीं
offering
दिया
again
हे
and
कृष्ण
again.
मेरी
Radharani
रोटी
says,
मेरे
"Oh
दोष को
Krishna,
तुम
you never
तुम्हारे
paid any
द्वारा ही कभी
attention to any of my
दिया
faults,
सदा
errors, or
देते न
issues.
थके तुम
You had always
दाता
offered me, you
मुझ
had
प्यार
always given
सबको
me. You had gone on to offer
आपने
me
अपनापन सबको
utmost
दिया
love
लेकिन आप
of
अपने आप
yours.
दे
In
आत्म
fact, you have gone on to offer
विलीन
completely yourself
आप
to
बिक
me.
गए आप
You
अपने ही
have,
आप
in
को
a
दे
way,
दिया
kind of sold yourselves to me. You have
और
completely
ऊंचाई की बात है
offered me,
कृष्ण
offered
आपने
yourself
अपना
to
सब कुछ
me.
दे दिया मुझे
So, in other words, Krishna
मैं आपके पास
has
ही
offered
क्यों रहूं
everything
जब
that
आप
he
खुद
had in
ही
his
हो गए
possession to
तब
Srimati
भी
Radharani,
फिर
and
भी
he had
कृष्ण
himself come to belong
फिर
to
भी कृष्ण
of
तेरे
Srimati
सिवा मैं
Radharani.
तुमको कुछ भी है प्यारी फिर भी आप ऐसा कहते हो
And still,
इतना कुछ देने के बाद भी
Shri
कृष्ण
Shyam
आप
Sundar
कहते
says
हो कि हे
that I
मेरे
have not
प्यारे
been able to
हे
give you
राधा हे
anything, O my
राधा मैं
beloved.
तुम्हें कुछ नहीं दे
Srimati
सका
Radharani says that
प्रीति
despite the
से
fact
दे न
that you have
सका
given me
मुझको
everything,
भी
you
हे
still
प्यारी
say that you have not
तुमसे
been able to
शिव
give
प्रभु
me
जी तुम
anything.
ही मेरे
And you
ऊपर
go
हो
on to
अधिकारी
always say that
अरे आप
you
जैसी शिलवान
have
दुनिया में
completely and that you always
दुनिया
want
में
to
कोई नहीं जो
completely
तुम पर बलिहार हो
shower yourself upon me.
क्या मैं कहूँ प्राण प्रियतम से देख लजाती अपनी ओर क्या मैं कहूँ प्राण प्रियतम से देख लजाती अपनी ओर मेरी हर करनी में ही तुम प्रेम देखते नंद किशोर
So Srimati Radharani says that everything that I do,
बहुत सारी
every
बातें
act
कह
of
रहे हैं
mine, every activity of
इसमें
mine,
मेरी
you
परिक्रमा
only
की
look
सुंदरता
at
इसका
the
आस्वादन कर रहे
aspect
थे
of love and affection of
लेकिन
mine
समझ में
towards you.
राधा को
You're so
हमारी
great,
विरह था
humble, and wise.
और इतना
So
विरह
the net conclusion of this entire story is
राधा के
that
हृदय में
Srimati Radharani was strongly missing Sri
तो देखो हुआ
Krishna
क्या है
and that she had a
जीवन में
burning
कुछ भी नहीं
desire
होता है ना
to meet Shri Krishna.
तो
You see what happens whenever a problem
यदि तुम
befalls
तुम
us,
दो पांच लोगों
whenever
के साथ
problems and
जामोगे
issues
तो
comes in
वो
our life,
कमाल का हो जाता
if we go on to
है ना
discuss our
दस
problems
लोगों के
before
सामने हम
some
कुछ
friends,
हमारा
some of
दर्द
our
इजहार
people
करते हैं
near
तो
and dear
एक आध
ones,
चिंता थोड़ी
then
कम हो जाती
the
है बार
intensity
बार
and the
होती है
issue that we are facing
लेकिन
goes
राधा
down.
अपना दुख
But
किसको कहे
Srimati Radharani
किंतु
never
जीवन के
discloses her
साथ
problems and issues
अनंत
to
जटिला
anyone.
जटिला
You see,
जटिला
her
कृष्णा ने बिल्कुल घर पर बांध कर रखा था
tie her
क्या हुआ
in the house and she
देखिए
cannot go anywhere outside the
जब
house. Strong restrictions were
राधा
placed on
अपने
the
दुख
movement of
किसको कहे
Srimati
तो
Radharani.
राधा
So
के
Srimati
पास
Radharani
किसके
had
लिए
no one to share
तोता
her
समझते हैं
problems
पोपट
and her issues with anyone.
और वो
So
पीली आंखों
Radharani
की
had a parrot which was there in the cage.
जीवन में पहली बार अब देखो ये फर्स्ट टाइम की बात है
You see, it so
राधा को
happened for
अपना
the
दुख
first
कहने
time
के लिए
that
कोई नहीं मिला
Srimati
हाँ
Radharani
एक ऋषि
found no
मुनि था
one
वो
to
तोता
speak
बैठा था
her
राधा ने
problems and
जीवन में पहली
issues.
बार वो पिंजरा खोला
Radharani,
और
for
उस
the first
पिंजरे से
time in her
निकल कर
life,
बाहर निकली
opened the cage
गदगद से
door
आंखों में
and
आंसू
brought the parrot out of that
तोता बाहर
cage.
निकला और
She is
राधा
feeling
रानी ने
happy at her heart and
पिंजरे
she
में
brought the parrot out of the cage.
अनार के दाने
And
अपने
Srimati
हाथों से
Radharani
बाहर को
went
खोला
on to
उसके
offer
दाने
the
निकले
grains of
वो अनार के
pomegranates
दाने
to
उस
that
तोते को
parrot.
खाने के लिए दे दिए तोता खाने लगा
And the parrot started eating those
अब राधा रानी
grains
उस
of
पिंजरे से
pomegranate.
चलती हैं
Now
और
Radharani
वृंदावन चंपू में लिखा
goes on to speak to that parrot, and this is written in Anand Vrindavan Champu. Srimati Radharani says, "O parrot, O Sukh, O Sukh, O parrot, you speak Krishna." So Radharani asked parrot to speak Krishna.
राधा ने कहा तुम कृष्ण बोलो, तो वो तोता कहता है हरे कृष्ण।
You see, the parrot was asked by Radharani to speak Krishna, but the parrot spoke Hare Krishna and not just Krishna. Radharani says to speak Krishna, but the parrot says Hare Krishna.
वो राधा और कृष्ण दोनों का नाम साथ में लेने लगा।
So the parrot wanted to take and chant the holy name of both Radharani and Krishna together. Now, when the parrot spoke Hare Krishna, Radharani became so happy that she went on to narrate all her problems and issues to the parrot. Srimati Radharani goes on to say, so Srimati Radharani says, "Oh parrot, my Shyam Sundar Krishna is too far away from me. I have come far away from him, and today I'm missing my Shyam Sundar. I'm missing him with strong degree and intensity." Then the parrot says, "Then why don't you go to Shyam Sundar or call him to you?" Srimati Radharani says that I am a simple woman. Srimati Radharani says that this physical body of mine, this material body of mine is tied to this family, and that I am a woman, I am under certain obligations. And the only object of my love is Shri Krishna. And because of the social embarrassment, I cannot express my love and affection. The obligation of Guru, my mother-in-law, my family, and because of this, I cannot meet Sri Krishna, and I cannot stay alive without meeting him, and I cannot even afford to die, because of Krishna, because if I die, Sri Krishna would be under immense pain. So neither I can live nor I can die. So I have before me a very strong problem. So, parrot, can you do me a favor? The parrot replied that yes, O Devi, O Radharani, tell me, what can I do for you? I have consumed food from your hands made by you. Tell me what I can do to help you. So Srimati Radharani says that please do me a favor. I cannot go to Shyam Sundar, but there is no restriction upon you to travel to Sri Krishna. You go to Sri Krishna, and the pain, the problem, and my condition, the condition that I am placed in, please go and narrate this to Sri Krishna. So the parrot offered his obeisances to Srimati Radharani, and the parrot took the flight, and this parrot reaches Vrij Vrindavan directly to Sri Krishna.
तो पूछा कि शुक तुम कौन हो, तुम
And
यहाँ
he
मेरे घर
asked, "Oh parrot, who you are and why have you come to me?" The parrot said that I am the slave of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani is my master. Listening to this, Sri Krishna's eyes started rolling out tears continuously. Dear devotees, this is the principle of the Shastras, the one whom we love the most, for sure. But you see, all the objects of our beloved also becomes loving and dear to us. So if we love Krishna, even the name of Krishna, the story and pastimes of Katha should also be equally attractive. And even the devotees of Krishna should also be as lovingly and as affectionate for us as Lord Sri Krishna. You see, we should have same love and affection towards the devotees of Krishna as we would do to Krishna. So you see, you should never have this element of jealousy to any of the devotees of Krishna because you love Krishna. Because if you love Krishna, you should equally and alike love his devotees as well. So whatever are the objects of Lord, they should be treated as equal as if it is Lord himself. Looking at that parrot, you see, the story is really very long and huge, but we will try to cut it short. So the Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna Chandra, looked at the parrot. So Lord Krishna, you see, developed strong love and affection for this parrot. Sri Krishna offered the meals for the parrot. The parrot refused. The parrot said that I will not have meal, rather I am deeply remorseful. So the parrot said, Radha Rani, who always used to take care of me, and leaving that Srimati Radha Rani, I am sitting before you. This is the biggest remorse for me in my life. So the underlying principle here is that the person, the entity, the individual who offers us devotion to Sri Krishna, we must never forget that person. Imagine a parrot is saying that Srimati Radharani has catered to me, tendered to me, and alas, I am sitting with you. The devotion of the parrot towards Srimati Radharani greatly and heavily impressed Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna, who was just trying to cajole parrot that the parrot should have the meal because the parrot has traveled too huge a distance. But in the meantime, in that time, the friend of Sri Krishna arrives, and looking at the parrot, the friend of Sri Krishna said, the name of the friend was Mansukha, that catch hold of this beautiful parrot, O Krishna. You see what happens. The one who speaks impressively, the one who sings impressively, and especially the Krishna Katha, so that person is always sought after by everyone. That is the reason all parrots are under cages, but crows are always flying independently. Those who sing well, those who speaks impressively, Krishna Katha and Radha Katha are always caged. So Madhu Mangal Sakha, the friend of Sri Krishna, who was Madhu Mangal, said, catch hold of this parrot. How impressive is his speech. How beautiful he sings. So, so there was a friend of Srimati Radharani, Madhurima. So Mansuka was about to catch hold of this parrot, and the friend of Srimati Radharani said that don't you dare catch this parrot. This is the parrot of Srimati Radharani. Mansuka said that I have not gone to catch hold of this parrot. It has rather walked up to us. Mansuka said the parrot belongs to us, and Madhurima Saki said the parrot belongs to them and Srimati Radha Rani. So now there was a debate between Madhurima and Mansuka. So Mansuka said, okay, I have a solution. Let's keep the parrot in between the two of us, between you and Sri Krishna. Let us see the parrot, whomsoever he walks up to, the parrot belongs to that person. Madhurima says that, oh Mansuka, don't bluff me. If anyone sees Krishna once, who he would never leave Sri Krishna, never ever. So Krishna is such a personality that he never catches hold of someone, but if he catches hold of somebody once, he never holds that person, puts that person aside of way. Now, this debate was going on between Mansukh and Madhurima. She Yashoda Maya arrives and she asks everyone to come and have their meals. Now, at this point of time, Madhurima Sakhi said, in a complaining mood to Yashoda Maya, that this Mansukha has taken their parrot.
Now, Yashoda Maya said that as of now, we must all have the meals and then I will talk about this parrot. Now, Yashoda Maya got the parrot freed from Mansukh, the friend of Sri Krishna, and this parrot flew to Srimati Radharani. Now, when this parrot came to Srimati Radharani, Srimati Radharani threw away the cage of the parrot and she got a very beautiful sitting chair prepared for that parrot. Why Radharani did so? Because this parrot has arrived having enjoyed the prasadam of Sri Krishna, and now this parrot was about to utter the pastimes and katha of Sri Krishna. Now the parrot flew and sat at this position, at this asan, and he narrated the entire news about Sri Krishna. Listening to the story of Sri Krishna from this parrot, the heat of missing and lamenting upon the name of Sri Krishna, everything disappeared. The parrot, in a very interesting and lucid manner, narrated the entire story. So, in context of Ras Leela, when Sri Krishna disappeared, Sri Krishna asked the gopis that you say that you love Krishna so much and beyond comprehension, and when I left you, but still you were dancing, so you should have actually been dying rather than dancing. You're still alive. What is the reason? Then the gopis answered to Sri Krishna. So the reply of Gopi was something like this.
कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ते भूरिदा जना.
So the gopis replied to Sri Krishna that, "Oh Krishna, we were actually dead, missing you, but still we are alive despite missing you. And the only reason behind this is because your pastimes, your katha is actually making us stay alive." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when in Jagannath Puri, whenever he would miss Sri Krishna, in order to let that missing factor stay apart, Rai Ramanand, what would he do? He would only narrate the stories and pastimes of Sri Krishna. This parrot narrated the pastimes of Sri Krishna. The pain and sorrow of Srimati Radharani disappeared. She became so happy that she offered a kiss on the cheek of this parrot. And Acharyas go on to write, Acharyas went on to write
गौलोक प्रसाद सदा निवासी. श्रीमती राधा रानी ने उस शुक के गाल पर चुंबन कर लिया.
Srimati Radharani offered a kiss to the parrot. And when the age of Kaliyug arrived, and when it was the right time to narrate the hidden treasure of the pastimes of Srimati Radha Rani and Sri Krishna, the same parrot was brought down by Srimati Radha Rani in the form of Sri Suk Goswami, and whatever Sri Suk Goswami explained is what we have understood today. So you see, by the mercy of Srimati Radha Rani, that Sri Suk Goswami was able to narrate the entire events.
भक्तों जो भागवत बोलता है ना, उसकी जीवा पर सरस्वती नहीं होती, सरस्वती तो बहुत छोटी पड़ती है.
So sometimes when you people make devotees, you say in your anumodan and acknowledgement that Saraswati Maya is very merciful to this Vyas, that he is doing such a wonderful katha. But I would want to say that if you talk about Saraswati Devi, it's a very small department. So if any Vyas does great katha, which is liked by all, it is actually Srimati Radharani who catches hold of the cheeks of the Vyas and makes him narrate the beautiful katha. So we will talk more about it, but before that, let us proceed for a short break.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna. So बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीमान लाल गोविंद जी का. बहुत सुंदर श्रीमती राधा रानी की इस लीला कथा को गुरु जी आज आस्वादन करा रहे हैं. स्पेशली आज श्रीमती राधा रानी का आविर्भाव दिन है और जन्म दिवस है. इसके उपलक्ष्य में बहुत ही सुंदर उत्सव भी सेलिब्रेट किया है हमने और वो भी दर्शन करेंगे हम. लेकिन आज जो प्रभु जी ने विशेष कुछ श्लोकों के माध्यम से अनेक शास्त्र से प्रभु जी ने आज जो सुंदर कथा श्रवण कराई, उसके लिए हम धन्यवाद करते हैं. और बहुत सुंदर अभिषेक के दर्शन भी हम करेंगे कुछ ही पलों में. तो आइए सर्वप्रथम हम गौ माता के दर्शन करते हैं, क्योंकि आज बहुत सुंदर पर्व है. हमारे जवान परिवार है जिन्होंने बहुत सारे भक्तों ने यहाँ पर सेवा की है आज इस राधाष्टमी के उपलक्ष्य में, जिससे कि हम गौ माता के दर्शन कर सकें. तो आज पुनः एक बार फिर से हमारे श्री राधा गोविंद गौशाला से हमारी गौ माता के आज ये बहुत ही मनोहारी दर्शन में प्राप्त हुए हैं. तो हरे कृष्णा. तो आज एक बार फिर से हम धन्यवाद करते हैं हमारे जो यजमान परिवार की जो सुंदर सहयोग किया है कि आज फिर से हम श्रीमती राधा रानी का ये जो पर्व हमारे बीच में आया है और इसी पर्व के अंतर्गत पुनः हमें आज श्रीमती राधा रानी की कथा श्रवण करने को मिली है. तो वाकई में धन्य है कि प्रतिदिन हमें बहुत सिद्धांतों के साथ में लीला कथा को आस्वादन करने को मिल रहा है. और आज विशेष श्रीमती राधा रानी का जन्मदिन है, इसके उपलक्ष्य में आज भी यहाँ पर सुंदर गौ सेवा में दर्शन करने को मिल रहा है. और ये जो सुंदर सहयोग किया है पाना परिवार ने, तो उनको बहुत ही धन्यवाद करते हैं. ये जो अवसर आपने चुना है भागवत कथा के लिए, वाकई में आप धन्यवाद के पात्र है. और धन्यवाद आपसे तो कि आज इस सुंदर पावन अवसर पर आप सबने भी यहाँ पर सहयोग किया, सेवा किए हैं. तो प्रार्थना करेंगे श्रीमती राधा रानी के चरणों में तथा हमारी गौ माता को भी कि आप सभी के जीवन में भी श्रीमती राधा रानी की कृपा बरसे. विशेष हमारे जो श्री घुषाने वाली माता है श्रीमती राधा रानी, इनकी कृपा आप सभी भक्तों पर ऐसी हम प्रार्थना करेंगे गौ माता से तथा श्रीमती राधा रानी से. तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. और यस, कुछ ही पलों में हम जैसे अभिषेक के दर्शन करने वाले हैं. तो अनेक भक्तों ने यहाँ पर सहयोग किया है और हम विशेष निवेदन करना चाहेंगे उन भक्तों से जिनकी इच्छा है कि इस प्रकार के कार्यक्रम में गौशाला की सेवा में सहयोग करना चाहते हैं. तो आप हमें अप्रोच कर सकते हैं हमारे इस कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स में, जहाँ पर आप इस विषय में अधिक सूचना प्राप्त कर सकते हैं, जो कि है 7567545555 sevapperfect@gmail.com. उसके माध्यम से आप हमें ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं. और www.perfectseva.com ये हमारी गौशाला की वेबसाइट है, जहाँ पर जाकर आप इस गतिविधियों को देख सकते हैं. तो आप सबसे निवेदन है इसमें जरूर सहयोग कीजिएगा। और साथ ही साथ बहुत सुंदर पर्व जो कि आने वाले दिनों में हम मनाने वाले हैं, वो ये है कि आने वाली जो भागवत कथा होने वाली है विशेष, वो इस पवित्र श्राद्ध पक्ष के में शुरू होने वाली है। तो आप सभी भक्तों से भी निवेदन है कि यहाँ पर पिछले वर्ष की भांति बहुत ही सुंदर भक्तों ने सहयोग किया था, पार्टिसिपेट किया था इस कार्यक्रम में, जहाँ पर हम श्री राधा गोविंद गौशाला की ओर से अनेक वैष्णव तथा ब्राह्मणों को आमंत्रित किए थे श्राद्ध पक्ष में हेतु। आप जैसे वैष्णव ने जो सहयोग किया था उसके लिए उनको भोजन हेतु। तो बहुत सुंदर कार्यक्रम इस बार भी हमने आयोजित किया है, जहाँ पर हम वैष्णव को आमंत्रित करेंगे भोजन के लिए, तथा 15 दिन लगातार ये श्रीमद् भागवत पाठ होगा आपके हमारे पितरों की ऊर्ध्व गति के लिए। साथ ही साथ पितृमोक्ष पूजा भी कराई जाएगी स्पेशल, और विशेष जो पितृतृप्ति यज्ञ है वो भी होने वाला है, और साथ ही साथ प्रतिदिन गौ माता की सेवा। तो ये बहुत ही सुंदर कार्यक्रम पुनः एक बार फिर से आयोजित किया गया है। तो आप सभी से निवेदन है कि आप इसमें जरूर पार्टिसिपेट कीजिएगा हमारे पितरों के लिए, उनकी ऊर्ध्व गति के लिए। ये बहुत सुंदर सुनहरा अवसर मिला है साल में, जो एक बार हमें हमारे पितरों को तर्पण करना रहता है। तो वो ये समय आता है पितृ श्राद्ध पक्ष, जो कि 15 दिन का होता है। तो ये पुनः एक बार फिर से ये अवसर आने वाली 20 तारीख से 6 सितंबर तक है। तो आप सभी से निवेदन है कि आप इसमें जरूर पार्टिसिपेट करें अपने पितरों की मोक्षार्थ के लिए और उनकी ऊर्ध्व गति के लिए। साथ ही साथ जैसे प्रभु जी ने बताया था कुछ दिन पूर्व कि हम सब ऋण में जी रहे हैं। वाई वी आर अनहैप्पी? बिकॉज वी आर ऑलवेज अंडर द डेब्ट। जैसे नृणाम पितृणाम देवर्षि नृणाम पितृणाम, तो अनेक अनेक देवताओं के, ऋषि मुनियों के, पितरों के, सभी के ऋण में हम कर्ज में डूबे हुए हैं। तो हाउ कैन वी एक्सपेक्ट टू बी हैप्पी? ऐसी कैसे आशा कर सकते हैं? तो we have a wonderful opportunity over here where we can be free from the depth of our पितृ। उनके लिए शुभ आशीष की कामना कर सकते हैं इस दौरान। तो बहुत सुंदर अपॉर्चुनिटी है, आप सभी इसमें सहयोग कर सकते हैं। और विशेष इस विषय में अधिक जानकारी के लिए यहाँ पर नंबर दिया गया है, आप उसे अप्रोच कर सकते हैं अगेन, विच इज 7567545555 और +120121509113। इस विषय में आपको यहाँ पर और अधिक सूचना प्राप्त होगी। हम आशा करेंगे आप सब इसमें भी पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे। और बहुत ही सुंदर श्रीमती राधा रानी का दिव्य अभिषेक महोत्सव भी जल्द से जल्द होने वाला है। आप सब भी बने रहिएगा। और विशेष क्योंकि श्रीमती राधा रानी का ये जन्मदिन है, इसीलिए आप सबसे निवेदन है कि हम सब मिलकर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा प्रार्थना करें श्रीमती राधा रानी से, प्रे करें। Prayer has the power to please the Krishna। हम सब मिलकर कृष्ण की प्रार्थना करें, जिससे कि हम सब इनकी कृपा को प्राप्त कर सकें। Just like Prabhuji mentioned that Srimati Radha Rani is the dearest, भगवान को जो सबसे निकट है वो है श्रीमती राधा रानी। And that's why when Srimati Radharani is pleased, Krishna gets automatically pleased. Otherwise, Krishna is crooked, just like Prabhuji mentioned in the shloka, that the way this shloka is, displayed in the screen, Krishna इसी प्रकार से है, परंतु उन्हें प्रसन्न करना इजी हो जाता है जैसे श्रीमती राधा रानी की चरण रेणु को हम लेते हैं सर पर। तो आइए हम ऐसी श्रीमती राधा रानी की लीला कथा को हम आस्वादन करें पुनः प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से। हरे कृष्ण।
वैसे आप सबके हृदय में बहुत भारी और ऊंची जिज्ञासा है।
As such, I'm aware that you have strong, highly placed queries. However, to understand something about Srimati Radharani, or to explain something about Srimati Radharani, or to sing something about Sri Radharani is very much a strong, difficult task. Brahmaji, Sankadik, even Lord Krishna himself had not been successful in understanding the glory of Srimati Radharani. So Lord Krishna, Sankadik and Brahmaji, etc. have also expressed their inability to understand Srimati Radharani. Lord Krishna, despite just being opposite to Srimati Radharani, he stays as most humble as a person. And we have all assembled together to listen to Katha of Srimati Radharani. So let us all come together and offer our obeisances at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, and let's pray that she should be merciful upon us so that we can understand some of her pastimes and her.
कविराज गोस्वामी कहते हैं
Kaviraj Goswami goes on to say that
एक दिने सेहो एक बार अवतीर्ण हैया करे प्रकट विहार.
so Kaviraj Goswami goes on to say that even though Lord Krishna
अपने अवतार इस धरती पर इस भूमंडल पर भेजते रहते हैं.
so Lord Krishna keeps on sending his associates
स्वयं भगवान श्री
to this material world, but in the real
ब्रह्मा
sense,
के एक दिन में केवल एक बार आते हैं.
Lord Krishna appears on this
ब्रह्मा जी
earth
के एक दिन की
in one day of Lord Brahma.
मनवंतर जब बीतते हैं
14 Manvantars when passes by, that is the end of one day of Brahmaji. So in the 14 Manvantars, only once Lord arrives by himself, and other than the Lord, incarnations and other forms of Lord appears. You see, the forms of Lord Krishna has become used to appearing, then he could have sent them. And why does he come all by himself? And this is the first question in Shrimad Bhagavatam. So this is the first question of Shrimad Bhagavatam, that why Lord appears all by himself in this material world. So there are two reasons that Lord arrives in this material world. Number one, so that he can himself enjoy the pleasure, and also the second reason is that he can go on to exercise kindness upon living entities. So now the question is that is it so that Shri Krishna is not enjoying in Golok Vrindavan Dham? The answer is that all kinds of pleasures and happiness, all kinds of mellows were there in Golok Vrindavan, but there are two mellows which are missing in Golok Vrindavan. What are those two mellows? Vipralambaras, number one, and also the second being the one who is used to enjoying, used to, having pleasure, he will not like this in Golok Vrindavan. So where there is absence of Viraha ras, the Viraha mellow, and Parekya, the second one. So in Golok, everyone is Sokya, Parekya mellow. These two are missing in Golok Vrindavan. So to enjoy Parakya ras and Vipralambaras, in one day of Brahmaji, Lord Krishna arrives for one day. And another reason, of Lord Krishna arriving is to have mercy and blessings on living entities. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has said something like this. So what did Bhakti Vinod Thakur say?
गोपीनाथ
So
भगवान श्री कृष्ण
Gopinath, Lord Shri Krishna appears in this material world for us, for the liberation of living entities, and engages in huge pastime. 10:33:36, it has been said in Shrimad Bhagavatam.
संसार के जीव और विशेष
All the living entities of the world, and especially the devotees, Lord Krishna appears taking the human body, engages in pastime only for the benefit of his devotees.
संसार में रहने वाला जीव समस्त बंधनों से मुक्त होकर भगवान के धाम को प्राप्त
And with this, the living entity being entangled in the world goes on to free himself and reaches Golok Vrindavan. So Krishna appears and engages in such a pastime that the living entities come into their original form. You see, each one of us, you and me, are not sitting before each other in their real original form. For example, if somebody is asked, who is he says that I am an engineer, I am a woman or a man. Actually, this is not the real form of living entity. The real form of living entity is that we are all a part of Lord, and because of being a part of the Lord, there is a relationship with Lord, and because of the relationship, there is a particular form. So somehow we have forgotten that relationship. We have forgotten that relationship. But when we engage in listening to the katha being narrated for the Lord, then we come in our own original form. We are devotees. The biggest ignorance in this material world, the biggest sin in this material world, the biggest, issue in this material world is not to understand your own nature. So there was Vittal Nath Gosai in southern parts of India. So Vittal Nath Gosai, you see, so Vittal Nath Gosai, basically what happened is, so you see what happens here is, so Sri Vittal Nath Gosai, after having a dip in the waters, was going ahead to engage himself in the service towards Lord. So around the same time,
चाचा है, ताऊ है, मौसी है, तो ये हिंदी दिन है ना, इसलिए थोड़ा तो भांजा आया.
So around the same time, his nephew appeared. His nephew comes,
वो रास्ते में मिल गया,
happens to meet. The nephew happens to meet. Then the nephew said to Vittanath Goswamiji, "Oh, maternal uncle, how are you doing?" So Vittanath Goswami asked to the nephew, "Who you are?" Now the nephew replied that I am the son of your sister. Vittanath Goswami did not pay attention to the nephew, and again he went to take a dip in the holy waters. So the moment he took dip in the waters and came back again the nephew appeared and he said, "Oh Mamuji, how are you doing?" Now again Vittalnath Swami said that who you are, and again he went for taking a dip in the holy waters. So this continued. So almost 50 times Vittalnath Goswami had taken a dip 50 times, and at that time a saint appeared before him. And again Vittalnath Goswami asked that who you are, to which the saint replied that I am the servant of Govardhan. So what I'm trying to get across is that as long as we identify ourselves as the living entities of this material world, we would not be holy. So it's like one has to identify himself that I am the servant of the Lord.
So the point that I'm getting across is we all have forgotten our real identity, and that is where the problem is.
मान लो आप मुंबई के किसी रेलवे स्टेशन पर खड़े हैं, बोरीवली अंधेरी, और लोकल ट्रेन खचाखच भरी हुई आई, और ट्रेन आते ही आप भूल गए कि मैं कौन हूं। आप एक्चुअली है पुरुष।
Let's say,
आपके मन में ऐसा हुआ,
just in case, at the railway station, as the train arrived, you forgot that you are male and that you entered into the female compartment.
लेडीज डिब्बे में यदि कोई पुरुष चढ़ जाए और वो मराठी महिला एक तो इतनी बड़ी बड़ी गाली देती है, मतलब ये साइज, इतनी साइज की गाली,
The Marathi women would hurl abuses of strong size, and whatever they would get hold of, so they will, those Marathi women will beat him to blue from Borivali to Churchgate. Similarly, in this material world, we are being beaten up by illusory power. It is punishing us, threatening us, beating us, because the only reason is because we all have forgotten our real entity. We are the eternal servants of the Lord, and being an eternal servant of the Lord, we do have a relationship with the Lord. And in order to make each one of us remember and recall that relationship, Lord appears in this material world. So Lord actually goes on to tell that somebody has a Vatsalya relationship, or somebody has Sakha relationship.
ये कृष्ण के साथ जो प्रेम है, जो भाव है, साध्य कबू नहीं, वो सीधा हमें समझ में नहीं आएगा।
You see, the relationship with Lord Krishna can never be understood directly. It can only be understood when we engage in listening to the narrations of the pastimes of the Lord, when our heart would become holy and pure. Only then we would become happier, and our life in this physical material world would become meaningful. So in the last day's Katha, we understood that how Radharani appeared in Golok Vrindavan. Today, let us understand how Radharani appeared in this material world.
ये बात ब्रह्म वैवर्त की है, ये बात पद्म की है, ये बात गर्ग संहिता की है।
So I am now going to combine many references from many a text. The one that I'm speaking before you now is taken from Garg Samhita. Shri Gargacharya ji said that, so in Garg Samhita, Gargacharya went on to say, the Lord who is all complete in himself, he is the owner of entire universe, numerous universe. Such a Lord stays in Golok Vrindavan, and staying in that Golok Vrindavan, Lord Krishna had a thought coming to him. So what did Lord Krishna think staying in Sri Golok Vrindavan? That in order to lessen the burden of this material world, I would have to go. Now, the incarnations won't be able to do the needful. I myself would have to descend to the physical material world. So the Lord has taken already this vow that he is supposed to do. But you see, what happens is that Lord decided, because I have to talk about love and affection, so Radha Rani must accompany him. Therefore, Shri Krishna said something to Srimati Radha Rani, O Radhe, that in order to liberate the physical material world, I am going to the material world
Oh Radha, you also need to come to the earth. Now, at this, Radharani went on to reply,
राधा उवाच राधा रानी क्या कहती हैं कि ये ट्रैफिक और धूल और धुएं से बने हुए पृथ्वी में भाई ये कोई मुझे मुझे छोड़ दो आप अकेले जाओ आप भार दूर करो
so Radharani says that I don't want to go to the physical material world, rather you go all by yourself.
लेकिन इसका कारण क्या है तुम क्यों नहीं आओगी तो राधा रानी कहती है
So
यत्र
Sri Krishna
वृंदावन
asked, why would you not accompany me? Why would you not come? So Srimati Radharani replied, where there is no Vrij Vrindavan, where there is no Yamuna, where there is no Govardhan,
वहां मेरा मन नहीं लगता है
then at such a place my heart would still be restless.
इन सबको छोड़कर जाने में मेरा मन नहीं लगेगा अतः कृष्ण मैं आपके साथ नहीं आ सकती कृष्ण ने कहा कि राधे यदि ये वृंदावन ये यमुना ये गोवर्धन सबको
So Sri Krishna now
आपके साथ चल सकती हूँ
tells Radharani, if at all I take this Golok Vrindavan, all the sakhas, gopis,
नीचे उतारता हूँ
you know,
भगवान
onto the material world, would you then come along? Srimati Radharani replied in affirmative.
सेपरेट कथा
So
फिर कभी हम सुनेंगे
Sri Krishna now went on to
और ब्रज वृंदावन को धरती पर उतार
get river descend to the physical material world.
वेद गान क्रोश भूमि स्वदाम्न हरि स्वयं
So you see the
यमुनांच प्रेष्यामाम भूपरी भूतल पर इन सबको उतार दिया कहा कि राधे अब चलो राधा रानी ने कहा ठीक है आपने सारा
asked
कर दिया लेकिन अब एक
Radharani to come along, to which Radharani replied that still one condition remains unfulfilled, and that condition was that when I would enter this physical material world, I would keep my eyes, completely
मुझे आपका दर्शन होना
closed, because when I
जड़ देह को
would go to this physical material world, the first darshan that I want to have is that of you. So till the time I get your darshans, you see, I won't have
अब ये
anything.
सब सेटिंग हो गया
So Lord Krishna promised that
इतने पर
so
भी
will it happen.
राधा का मूड नहीं बन रहा था
So despite all the
कृष्ण
conditions
रोज
being
राधा से
met
कहते राधा कहाँ
by
जाना है
Lord Krishna for Srimati Radharani, but still, you see, Srimati Radharani was not getting the push to descend to the physical material world.
तो राधा रानी
Lord
ठान
Krishna
रही
would
थी
ask
भगवान
every
श्री
day,
कृष्ण ने सोचा
and Srimati Radharani was
सीधे सीधे
anyhow
काम नहीं बनेगा
postponing. Now Sri
और एक
Krishna
लीला करनी
realized
पड़ेगी
that Srimati Radharani would not
ये
listen
भगवान
to
की
him in a simple
सुंदर
manner.
लीला है
I must
अब वो
create
मैंने
certain
अभी तक सुनाया
pastime.
ये गर्ग संहिता में अब जो मैं
So
सुनाने
you
जा
see,
रहा
so far what I have discussed you is from Garg Samhita. Now what I'm going to share with you is from Brahma Vaivarta Puran.
सो ब्रह्म वैवर्त पुराण में
So
वर्णन
in
है
Brahma Vaivarta Puran, there is a mention like this,
भगवान श्री
that once
कृष्ण
it so
सुबह
happened
सुबह
that
जल्दी
Lord
अर्घ
Krishna
पानी उठाकर घर
once
से निकल गए
in the early morning
राधा
time
ने कहा कहाँ जा रहे हो बोले बस थोड़ी
left
एकांत में
for some isolation. Radharani asked where was he going, to which he replied that I want some isolation.
दूसरे दिन भी
Now
स्नान
Lord
करके
Krishna,
दर्शन
you
किए बोले
see,
राधा
returned evening. Now this was the trend for 4 or 5 days. Radharani smelled a
गड़बड़ हो
rat
रहा है
in this. Now what
ये
happens?
चंचल आदमी सुबह
Radharani
से
was
शाम
completely confused that how is it so possible
रहा था
that Shri
एक्चुअली
Krishna
ये
would
लीला
go
तो
and
सबके
come back very
भाग्य
well
के
in
लिए थी
time. But
अब क्या
actually
रहा
Shri
था
Krishna was
कृष्ण
planning all
ये
these
जब
pastimes
सखी
to
को
ensure
देखकर ये
Radharani to
ब्रह्म
descend to
वर्णन
the
में कर
physical material
कुछ
world.
लीला कुछ
So
चमत्कार
what
करने
actually
लगे
used to happen that Shri
और एक
Krishna
दिन राधा रानी
would
जिस
take one
विषय
of
का
the
चिंतन करते हुए
Sakhis.
वन में पहुंची
Now once
कृष्ण
Srimati
और वो
Radharani
सखी वहां
followed
चर्चा कर रहे थे
Shri
साथ में बैठे
Krishna,
थे कि
and
राधा को
Srimati
आवाज आई कहाँ भागे
Radharani
क्या करे
saw
कहाँ जाए कहाँ भागे
Virja Sakhi
वो
and
जो
Shri
गिरजा
Krishna
सखी थी वो
engaged
नदी बन
in
गई
conversation.
राधा
Now,
गई और देखा
in
कि
order to
ये देखिए
avoid Radharani, Virja
कैसे उछल रही
Sakhi
है बेचारी राधा को
went
पता नहीं
on to
चला कि
take
मैं
the
नदी
form
हूँ गिरजा
of
सखी
a river.
जो नदी बन
Now,
के उछल रही है
Radharani did not realize that this is
बोले
Virja
एकांत में
Sakhi.
बोले हाँ मैं यहाँ एकांत लेने
And
आया
she
हूँ
asked Shri Krishna what
एक
he
दिन
was
दो दिन
doing,
तीन
to
दिन
which Shri Krishna
फिर
replied that he
तीसरे
was
दिन क्या रहा था
meditating upon
आकर
something.
कृष्ण से पहले आकर बैठ गई
Now, once it so happened that Srimati Radharani, reached the place before the arrival of Srimati Radharani and Virja Sakhi, and that's how she got to know that this is not the river but Virja Sakhi, who takes the form of a river. And outraged at this act of Virja Sakhi, Srimati Radharani hurled a curse at Virja Sakhi that because of me you take the form of the river, I hurl a curse of you that you permanently become a river. And then Srimati Radharani also hurled a curse on Sri Krishna that Sri Krishna, you have made me pine for you, but I give you that omen that you will also undergo strong sufferings for me. Now the brother of Srimati Radharani appeared around the same time and he said, oh, Radharani, why are you hurling Sri Krishna? In fact, let me hurl a curse at you that you will take the form of a living entity and you will go to the material world. So Sridham hurled a curse at Srimati Radharani that you will go to the material world being a human and that you will miss Sri Krishna for 100 years. And the third curse that he hurled was that you will not be getting married to Sri Krishna, but rather some other Gopa in the material world. Now, Radharani also hurled a curse at her brother that you go on to become the demon Shankhchurna. In this manner, these events were taking place at Golok Vrindavan, and it is only because of these curses that it became possible for all the Gopis and etc. to come and descend on the material world. Now, eventually, over a period of time, everyone arrived on this material world. First of all, Lord Krishna came. Now, Demed was a Kshatriya king, and Raja Demed had two wives. One was from Kshatriya clan, the other from Vaishya clan. From the marriage of Kshatriya clan, the son was Shursen, and from Shursen, another son was Vasudev. Now, his another brother, two sons he got, Parjanya and Arjanya. Parjanya Maharaj further had five sons, Sunand, Nandan, Upanand, Abhinand, and Nand. So Nand Maharaj was the third in the sequence of his brothers, and Nand Maharaj was married to Sumukh Gopi's daughter, Yashoda Maya.
और फिर उसी नंद और
And
यशोदा
then,
के पुत्र के रूप में बजेंद्र
in
नंदन
the form of a son of Yashoda and Nand, Lord Krishna appeared as the sun. On the 8th day of Shravan, Anand or pleasure was born. But today we are listening to Maha Anand, great pleasure. So, great pleasure form Radharani appeared on this day, which is Radha Ashtami. So, how Radharani appeared, this is what we must listen. So, you see, we must try to relate and attach this with different links that we have understood. So Rup Goswami wrote Lalit Madhav. You see, this is from where we have sourced this context. Now you see what happens. That Devi Sati had left her body, and as she was dying, she asked for a vow, asked for a boon from Lord that I always would want to become partner of Lord Shiva. So now the same Devi Sati, took birth as Parvati, and her marriage was fixed with the daughter of Himalaya. Now you see the position and the status of Himalaya catapulted because of his daughter being married to
तो हिमालय के भाई
Lord Shiva.
विंध्याचल को
Now, the brother
ऐसा
of Himalaya, Vindhyachal, did not
बुरा
like
लग गया
this. He
कि भाई
felt
मेरे
bad
भाई को इतना अच्छा दामाद
that
मेरे
my
भाई
brother
ने
got
ना
such
दे
a
दिया,
wonderful son
तो
in
मुझे भी
law,
अच्छा दामाद
then
होना
I
चाहिए।
should also get a
तो विंध्याचल ने
great
तपस्या की
son in law. Now,
और ऐसा
Vindhyachal
करके ब्रह्मा जी
went for strong
प्रसन्न हुए।
meditation and penance, and he
ब्रह्मा जी प्रसन्न
was
हो
able
गए।
to make Lord Brahma happy and
ब्रह्मा ने
pleased.
कहा वर मांगो,
Now, Lord Brahma asked
बोले
Vindhyachal to ask
मुझे
for any
8
boon.
कन्या तो ऑलरेडी है,
Vindhyachal said that I already have 8
अब
daughters.
मुझे ऐसी कन्या चाहिए
Now I want such a
जिसके
daughter
पति
whose husband,
हिमालय का जो दामाद है वो
whose
मेरे दामाद
husband
की सेवा करना चाहिए।
should be
मतलब वो
such
जिनकी सेवा
that
करे
he
वो
should
मेरा
be able to
दामाद बने,
beget
ऐसी कन्या
services
मुझे चाहिए।
from the son-in-law of
ब्रह्मा
my
जी बोले
brother.
तथास्तु,
Brahmaji said,
लेकिन
so
ब्रह्मा
be
जी
it.
अपने चार चार दिमाग लगाकर
Now,
सोचने लगे
when
कि
Brahmaji went back
शिव
to his
जिसकी
abode,
सेवा करे
he was
वो एक ही
pondering
आदमी है
that
कृष्ण,
there is
और
just
कृष्ण
one
की कोई क्या बेटी हो
personality
सकती है राधा।
who
तो
is
अब
served
ब्रह्मा जी ने
by
विधाता को
Shiva.
सेट कर दिया
Then
कि विंध्याचल
you
कुमार
see, there
9
cannot be anyone just like
राधा का
Lord
जन्म होना चाहिए।
who could only
इसीलिए हमारे भाई
marry, who would
विंध्याचल
only
ने
marry
8
consort
कन्या का
Srimati
आयोजन कर
Radharani.
चुका था
So that
और
way,
एक कन्या का
Lord
अभी
Brahma
जन्म
made
हुआ
the arrangement
जो
that
श्रीमती
the
राधा रानी
9th
की जिनका
daughter
जन्म विंध्याचल
would be
चल रहा
actually
है।
Srimati
ये 2 दिन की
Radharani,
बात
who
है।
was about to be born
जिस दिन
soon.
भगवान श्री कृष्ण प्रकट हो चुके थे
You see,
और फिर
this
वो
is
कन्या
the time that we're
संसार
talking
से
about,
निकल गई और उस
is the
कन्या का
time
जन्म हुआ।
when Lord Krishna had already appeared.
तू जिसे मारना
You
चाहता है वो तेरा काल, तेरी मौत गोकुल में जन्म ले चुका है। तो कंस भयभीत हो गया।
birth in Gokul.
मंत्रिमंडल को बुलाकर कंस
Now
ने
Kans was
मीटिंग की
too fearful
और फिर डिसीजन
that
हुआ
he called
कि
for a
10
meeting
15
with his
20 दिन तक
ministers,
जितने भी बच्चे
and a
पैदा हुए
decision
गोकुल
was
में हुआ है
taken
उन
that in the
सबको मार
past
दो।
10 to 15 days, whichever
अब
newborn
ये
child has been
कौन
born
करेगा,
must be
ये
killed.
डिपार्टमेंट कौन लेगा।
Now, who would
तो
take
वहां
over
वहां
this
मीटिंग में
assignment?
एक स्त्री बैठी थी जिसका
Now,
नाम
there
था
was a
पूतना।
woman in that
वो बोली
meeting
ये
whose name was
डिपार्टमेंट मैं संभालूंगी।
Putna, and she said that I
तो
will take
कंस
care of
ने
the
कृष्ण
kids
को
and
मारने
I
के लिए
will
भेजा।
kill them who have been born in
अब अन्य
past 10 to
पुराण
15
में ये
days.
कथा है
So, you
कि
see,
उस कन्या ने कहा
it is
था
that Kansa had sent
कि विंध्याचल
Putna.
वहां एक कन्या का जन्म हुआ है
Now,
और
the
उस
story
कन्या
goes
के
like this,
हाथों
that
से
there is
फिर
a
जो भोजन
daughter
खाएगा
being
एक
born
तो
to
अमर हो जाएगा
Vindhyachal house.
और दूसरा
Now, from the
उस
hands of such
विंध्याचल के
daughter,
वहां
whosoever would
जो
have
कन्या का जन्म
the
हुआ है
food
उसके हाथों का
would
भोजन
become
खाने वाला ही
mortal,
कंस के
immortal.
मृत्यु का कारण बनेगा। तो कंस ने पूतना को गोकुल में भेजा,
So
उसके
Kans
पहले
had sent
विंध्याचल के वहां भेजा कि
Putna
पहले तुम उस
to
कन्या को
Gokul,
तो
but
मत मारो,
before
उस
that,
लड़के को मारो।
he sent
तो
Putna
पूतना
to
कंसेन पराभूत
Vindhyachal.
हो पूतना बाल घातिनी, जब वो गोकुल में आई उसके पहले विंध्याचल पर्वत के
So
वहां गई।
Putna had reached Vindhyachal before
एक
reaching
दिन
Gokul.
महाराज विंध्याचल बहुत बड़ा यज्ञ कर रहे थे और उसी समय मौका
So once it so
आया था
happened
और पूतना
that
सहित
Vindhyachal
9
was
कन्याओं को
getting
अपने हाथों में लिया
performed a big, a
और अपने हाथों में
huge
उन 9 कन्या को
fire
लेकर
sacrifice.
खेचरी
Putna appeared and she took all the 9 daughters
जाकर इन कन्या को मार दूं,
in
खा
her
जाऊं,
hand
इसी उद्देश्य से पूतना उन 9 कन्या
and
को
she
लेकर
started
गई।
flying towards the
लेकिन
skies.
यहाँ पर विंध्याचल ने यज्ञ किया
But here
और उस
Vindhyachalji was
यज्ञ के
engaged in
प्रभाव से
yagna,
पूतना की
and
शक्ति
because
क्षीण
of
हो
the
रही थी।
effect of the yagna,
अब पूतना
the
आकाश
power
में
of
उड़ रही है,
Putna
फ्लाइट कर
started
रही है,
becoming weak.
लेकिन उड़ते
Now you
उड़ते
see,
ब्रज की सीमा
Putna
में पहुंची
is
और
flying in the
यज्ञ की
air,
आहुति के ऊपर आहुति दे जा रही थी।
and
जब
as
पता
she
नहीं
was flying,
कितना की
she
शक्ति
reached the
क्षीण
limits,
होती,
geographical
पूतना के
limits
हाथों से
of
एक एक कन्या निकलने लगी
Vrindavan, and the effect of
और वो
yagna
एक
was
एक
very,
कन्या
very
गिरने लगी।
strong. So
सबसे
one
पहले
by
जो कन्या
one,
गिरी
the
ब्रज में
girl,
ये
baby
सिखाया गया
girls,
उसमें अलग अलग
started
गांव की वो
getting
कन्या
dropped
ही
down
गिरी।
to Vrij Vrindavan.
प्रथम कन्या ऊंचा गांव में गिरी
So the
पर आगे
first
चलकर
daughter,
वो
the
गई
first
ललिता
girl,
सखी।
fell down
पूतना
at
के हाथ से
Uncha
दूसरी कन्या
village, and she
अंजनोनी
became
गांव में
Lalita
गिरी
Sakhi. The
जो
second
पूर्व
girl,
शाखा सखी।
you know,
ये सब राधा रानी की बहन ही है।
fell down at Anok
पूतना के
village.
हाथ से रांकोली गांव में एक कन्या गिरी
One
जो
girl,
इंदुलेखा सखी
fell
थी।
down at
फिर
Rangoli
एक
village,
चौथी कन्या पूतना के हाथ से
who
गई वो
went
जो
on to
चली
be
गई
known
जब गांव में।
as
और फ्लाइट तो थोड़ा सा ऊपर से चलती है तो गांव बदल जाता है। तो चौथी कन्या करहला गांव में कहर वन
The
में
fourth
गिरी,
daughter,
जिसका नाम था
fell down
चाचुंड
at
सखी। पूतना की
Karha
पांचवी कन्या
forest. The
चिकसोली
fifth
गांव में
girl,
गिरी और उनका नाम
fell
चित्रा
down
सखी
at
रखे।
Chiksoli village, and her
छठी
name
कन्या
was
कामना में
Chitrasaki.
गिरी, जो
In
बनी
Kamai
नीलकंठ की।
village, sixth
सातवीं कन्या
daughter
टेढ़ा
fell
में गिरी,
down.
जो हुई
The
रंग
seventh
भूमि। आठवीं
daughter
कन्या
fell
सुनहरा
down.
गांव में गिरी, जो
Eighth
हुई
daughter fell down in
सुदेवी।
Sunhera village, and she was
पांच तो
called
गिर
as
गई,
Sudevi.
राधा रानी बची थी।
Now,
और
who is
एक
left?
और थी
One is
चंद्रवती,
Radharani.
तो नौवीं
Now,
कन्या
the
भी गिर गई और वो किसी
ninth
कुएं में गिरी,
daughter also
तो
fell
यमुना में भी
down,
गिर गई।
not in any village, but in the Yamuna
और सीधे
waters.
कमल में आकर गिरी।
So there was a beautiful lotus in river
ओके,
Yamuna,
समझ
and
में आ
she
गया। आठ
fell
कन्या गांव
down
में,
in the lotus
नौवीं कन्या
in
यमुना में।
river Yamuna, the ninth
आइए,
daughter.
अब इसे यमुना में रहने दीजिए थोड़ी देर। अब हम थोड़े बरसाना जाते हैं,
Now let's go to
जहां पर
Barsana for
राधा
some
रानी का
time,
जन्म हुआ। किस
where
कारण से
Radharani
हुआ,
has
बड़ी
been
दिक्कत
born.
होगी।
Very interesting
तो
story
इसके
is
लिए
there.
आपको हरिवंश पुराण में जाना पड़ेगा।
So for this, you're required to understand
तब जाकर
Harivansh Puran.
क्रम सब कुछ कंप्लीट होता है। तो अब चंद्रवंश
Now,
में एक राजा हुए
in
जिसका नाम
Chandravansha,
था
there was a
निप जी,
king whose name was
और निप
Nipaji,
जी के पुत्र हुए जूप जी।
and
जुप
Jupaji
जी
was
के
the son
पुत्र
of
हुए
Jupaji.
दयादी।
Jupji's
दयादी
son
के
was
पुत्र हुए
Dayadi,
राजा धर्मवीर।
and then we had King Dharmaveer
राजा धर्मवीर
in
जब जन्म हुआ और
Chandravansha.
उनको कोई संतान नहीं हुई, तो ब्रज में आ गए। अब तक ये ब्रज में नहीं थे।
So now, so
संतान
far,
नहीं होने पर
they
ये
were
ब्रज
not
में
in
आए।
Vrindavan,
13
but
वर्ष
now they
तक
have come to
गिरिराज
Vrindavan.
गोवर्धन की
And
तलहटी
for
में
13
13
years,
वर्षों की
you
तपस्या की
see,
उन्होंने।
they were worshipping Chakreshwar Mahadev at the
और
foothills
चक्रेश्वर
of
महादेव की
Govardhan.
कृपा से
Now,
आगे
with the
चलकर
blessings of Chakreshwar
एक बहुत
Mahadev,
सुंदर पुत्र हुए
you
जिसका
know,
नाम था महिमान जी।
he was blessed with very
महिमान जी
beautiful
महाराज।
son, whose name was
और वहीं
Mahimanchi
हिंदू
Maharaj.
परंपरा जो थी, महिमान जी वो सब ब्रज में ही रहने लग गए।
Now they all started staying
महिमान
back
जी
in
के
Vrindavan.
5 पुत्र हुए।
So
सूरभान
now
जी,
Brijmanji had
चंद्रभान जी,
5
रतनभान
sons.
जी, धर्मभान जी और वृषभान जी। आ रहा है ना धीरे धीरे।
Okay. Now you
तो
see,
वृषभानु जी ये
Vrishbhanu
पारी के
ji
सबसे सेंटर
were the 5
इसमें ही मंत्री
brothers,
पुत्र थे।
who was the third
अब
in
वृषभानु
terms of
बाबा का
all his
विवाह
brothers.
आपकी
Now
माताजी
Vrishbhanu ji was
नंद बाबा ने
married.
करवाया था। लड़की खोजते हैं तो हेल्प करते
So
हैं।
Vrishbhanu ji
तो
actually
ये
had got
नंद बाबा
married
इनका
at the
विवाह किया गया।
mediation of Nand Baba.
इनका विवाह वृषभानु बाबा का विवाह मुखरा गांव के एक राजा, और उस राजा का नाम था इंदु सेन। राजा की
Indusen,
पत्नी का नाम था मुखरा देवी
and his wife
और
was
उनके
Mukhra
3 पुत्र
Devi,
और 1 कन्या थे।
and they had 3 sons and 1 daughter.
उसमें एक कन्या का नाम था कीर्तिदा।
And one of the
सो
daughters'
वृषभानु
name was
बाबा का विवाह
Kirtida. So
मुखरा गांव की
Brishvanuji
एक
Maharaj
कन्या
was
कीर्तिदा
married
के
to
साथ।
Kirtida.
सो कीर्तिदा और वृषभानु बाबा का विवाह, इसे और भी अन्य पुराणों में जाए तो ये
Now
भी
you
एक
see, if
कथा
we
है
go into other
कि वृषभानु
Puranas, there are
बाबा
many
और
other
कीर्तिदा
stories. The story goes like this:
दोनों पुत्र
Vishwanu
हुए
Baba and
राजा
Kirtida
सुचंद्र और
were,
कलावती। ये इनका पूर्व जन्म है।
you see, were
वृषभानु और कीर्तिदा
Kalavati.
राधा रानी के माता पिता का पूर्व जन्म, वो
So
राजा
the
सुचंद्र और
parents of
कलावती।
Srimati Radharani, Suchandra and
वो 12 वर्ष तक
Kalavati,
भोगे और विंध्य पर्वत की तलहटी में जाकर
and at the
देवताओं
foothills
के
of
तपस्या करने
Vindhyachal
लगे।
mountains, they started
देवताओं
meditating.
के 12,000 वर्ष तक तपस्या की।
So
तब
they
ब्रह्मा जी
continued
ने विनती
meditation
करी।
for
ब्रह्मा ने बोला
12,000
ब्रह्मा जी
years
ये वरदान
of
मांग लो।
the demigods. Now
तब उन
Brahmaji
देवताओं ने
said,
कहा
ask
कि
whatever
हमें
boon that you
ऐसी
want to
कन्या
ask
प्राप्त
for.
हो
Now they
जिसका
said that
पति
we want to have
साक्षात
such a
नारायण
daughter
भगवान
whose
कृष्ण हो।
husband was none other
ब्रह्मा
than
जी ने
Narayan
साफ कह दिया।
or Lord Krishna.
और
Now Brahmaji said, so be it.
उस योग से
And by
वृषभानु और
the blessings
कीर्तिदा
of Brahmaji,
बरसाना
Brishbanu
में रहने
and
लगे।
Kirtida
अब क्या
started
हुआ,
staying in
एक दिन
Barsana. Now it so happened one day
वृषभानु और कीर्तिदा को एक पुत्र था, पहले से
that
ही
there
एक
was
पुत्र
a
था जिसका
son
नाम
of
था श्रीराम।
Brishbanu and Kirtida
लेकिन कन्या
whose
नहीं थी।
name was Sridham, and they never had any
अब ये रहे
daughter.
राजा।
Now
अब
they were the
देखभाल
king,
के लिए ये दोनों
Brishbanu and
राजा सिर्फ बचे
Kirtida.
थे।
If you
क्योंकि उन
see,
दिनों कौन
they
छोटा
were,
कौन बड़ा ये
you
इक्वालिटी जो
see,
है वो
he was
राजा
highly
के ऊपर
acclaimed a
निर्भर
king,
नहीं थी।
even than Nand
ये गौ
Maharaj
माता के
also.
गोधन के ऊपर
So you
निर्भर
see,
थी।
in those times, this was subject to
और
the Gauvansh that anyone possessed.
नंद बाबा के पास 9 लाख गाय थी,
So Nand Babaji had 9 lakh cows,
11 लाख गाय थी।
but there were 11 lakh cows with the
यदि यही
Brishbhanu
रखें
Baba.
तो हम सब में सबसे धनी तो अमित नारायण प्रभु है।
So that way, you see, if we consider us, the richest person is Amit Narayan Prabhu.
तो वास्तव में
Isn't it?
ये
He has so many cows with him. The cow economy.
सो ये बहुत बड़े राजा थे, और आप तो जानते ही हैं,
Now you
बड़ा
see,
आदमी होता है,
somebody who is rich and
2-3 घर बना लेता है।
influential.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया में श्यामानंद प्रभु बैठे, अच्छा
So
खासा
an
घर
influential
लिया,
person
दूसरा नया घर लिया,
would always have 2-3 mansions.
तो होता है ना, आदमी के पास पैसों की कमी नहीं होती तो वो अब पैसे उछलते हैं, हैं? तो ऐसा नहीं कि हम कोई सेवा करे, दान करे, 2-2 घर 3-3 घर बनाते हैं, और फिर क्या
So
करते
an influential person would always have 2-3 palatial residences and things like that.
तो यहाँ पर भी ऐसा ही हुआ। वृषभानु बाबा कीर्ति
Now, Brishbhanu Baba, who used to stay in Barsana, and one of their house was also at Raval. So when you travel towards Dauji from Mathura, there is a village Raval. It was a sort of farmhouse. So maybe Brishbhanuda and Kirtida would spend their holidays at Raval. Now, they were holidaying around once at Raval, and Yamanaji used to flow right before their house. And one day, Kirtida Mata, along with her friends, was taking dip in Yamuna.
कीर्तिदा और खास करके माँ कीर्तिदा की सखियां
Of Kirtida were praying to the Lord. So the friends of Kirtida started praying to the Lord that if our friend Kirtida, had been very pious, God willing, if she has a daughter, then her life would be meaningful. Oh Lord, please offer her a daughter. So such a prayer all the friends of Kirtida started making, facing the northern direction.
राधे 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 बरसाने वाली राधे, राधे 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 बरसाने, हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा, जय हो परम धन राधा 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 राधा, जय हो। आप सब लोग बने रहिएगा, प्रोग्राम अभी बहुत लंबा है।
You see, the program is going to continue for some time. They all are taking the tip. Radha Rani would be born. There would be Abhishek and Kirtan, and they will be offered bhog, and we will engage in Kirtan as well.
हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा, हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा, मुनीन्द्र वृंद वंदिते त्रिलोक शोकहारिणे, प्रसन्न वक्त्र पंकजे श्रीकुंज भू विलासिने, वजेन्द्र भानुनंदिनी वजेन्द्र सूनु संगते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनम् अशोक वृक्ष वल्लरी वितान मंडपस्थिते प्रवाल ज्वाल पल्लव विभारुणाग्रिकोमले वराभय स्फुरत्करे प्रभुक्त संपदालये कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष अनंगरंग मंगलम प्रसंग भूरभुग्रवा विभ्रम संभ्रमंग पाण पाण पातने निरंतरम वशीकृतं प्रतीत नंद नंदने कदा करिष्यसि मां राधे 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 बरसाने वाली राधे 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 बरसाने वाली राधे भाव से माँ कीर्तिदा सभी गोपियों के साथ सखियों के साथ रावल में
So Ma Kirtida, along with all her friends, was taking bath in the holy river Yamuna, and she was praying to the Lord that I wish if I had a daughter in my family. You see, when there is a strong desire and mood to the Lord, the Lord certainly yields to the prayers, and immediately around the same time, Shukla Paksh Ashtami of the month of Bhadra in the Anuradha Nakshatra at 12 o'clock in the midday, as Kirtida was taking a holy bath in river Yamuna, along with Kirtida and her friends saw a 100-petaled lotus was floating in the waters of river Yamuna. Strong illumination was emanating from the lotus. All the friends of Srimati Radharani understood that we were praying to the Lord, and the Lord is fulfilling our wish and desire. You see, nobody knew that Srimati Radharani herself had arrived to complete the desires and hopes of Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. Now, along with the friends, Kirtida saw that there was a beautiful daughter, beautiful young girl in that 100-petaled lotus.
Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye सुंदर सा उस 100 दल वाले कमल में
That 100-petaled lotus, there was a beautiful young girl. All the friends of Kirtida said that this girl has appeared only for you, Kirtida. So the moment Kirtida took the girl to herself, you see, her breast started producing milk. She offered milk to this daughter. Demigods appeared and started showering flowers. All the friends of Kirtida also started hailing Kirtida.
जैसे कृष्ण का जन्म
Now, as Lord Krishna was born in Mathura, and from Mathura, Lord Krishna overnight was sent to Gokul. Similarly,
राधा रानी की प्राप्ति रावल में हुई, लेकिन उत्सव मनाने के लिए माँ कीर्तिदा और वृषभानु बाबा उसे बरसाना में लेकर आए।
And Vrishbhanu Baba brought Radharani to Barsana village. All the Vrishvasis got to know that Kirtida had been blessed with a very beautiful girl. All the Vrishvasis, very beautiful clothes and beautiful presents, started moving towards Barsana to congratulate Vrishbhanu and Kirtida.
कीरत ने लाली जाई, कीरत ने लाली जाई, बरसाने बजी बधाई।
कीरत ने लाली जाई, बरसाने बजी बधाई।
कीरत ने लाली जाई, बरसाने बजी बधाई, बरसाने बजी बधाई। कीरत ने लाली
जाई,
सूरत चंदा सी है प्यारी,
सूरत चंदा सी है प्यारी।
तीनों लोक से लगे हैं न्यारी। हम मन में खुशी समाई, कीरत ने लाली जाई। हर मन में खुशी समाई, कीरत ने
लाली जाई,
कीरत ने लाली जाई, बरसाने बजी बधाई। ब्रजमंडल खुशी मनावे, ब्रजमंडल
खुशी मनावे।
नाचे सब मंगल गावे,
नाचे सब मंगल गावे।
बाजे ढोल मृदंग नारे,
बाजे ढोल मृदंग नारे।
हे बाजे ढोल शहनाई, कीरत ने लाली जाई। बाजे ढोल मृदंग शहनाई, कीरत ने लाली जाई। बरसाने बजी बधाई, कीरत ने लाली जाई।
बरसाने बजी बधाई, कीरत ने लाली जाई।
आइए अब अभिषेक कार्यक्रम प्रारंभ होने जा रहा है।
Now let us start with the Abhishekam program. Let us offer Aarti to Srimati Radharani first of all.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare। जय हो।
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे,
हरे राम हरे राम,
राम राम हरे हरे।
जो रस बरस रयो बरसाने, वो रस तीनों लोक में नाही जो रस बरसाने सो रस तीनों लोक में नाई वो रस वैकुंठ में ना तीनों लोक में नाई वो रस वैकुंठ में जो रस बरस रयो बरसाने वो रस तीनों लोक में नाही साकरी गली बनी पर्वत की दधिले चली कुमरी की रत की जय हो। अभिषेक प्रारंभ होने जा रहा है भाव से। दधिले चली कुमरी की रत की आगे गाय चरे गिरिधर की देने सखा सिखाई राधे। जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी अलबेली सरकार कन्हैया ले चल परली पार कन्हैया ले चल परली पार जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी हे अलबेली सरकार कन्हैया ले चल परली पार कन्हैया ले चल गुण अवगुण सब तेरे अर्पण पाप पुण्य सब तेरे अर्पण गाइए गाइए ये जीवन भी तेरे अर्पण बुद्धि सहित मन तेरे अर्पण मैं तेरे चरणों की दासी मैं तेरे चरणों की दासी तू मेरा प्राण आधार कन्हैया ले चल परली पार कन्हैया ले चल परली पार राधे। कन्हैया ले चल परली पार, कन्हैया ले चल परली पार, जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी, अलबेली सरकार, कन्हैया ले चल परली पार। आनंद घन यहाँ बरस रहा है, आनंद घन यहाँ बरस रहा है, पत्ता पत्ता हर्ष रहा है, पत्ता पत्ता हर्ष रहा है। मेरे मल्ला मेरे माजी, मेरे मल्ला मेरे माजी, और कर दो बेड़ा पार, कन्हैया ले चल परली पार, कन्हैया ले चल परली पार। जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी, जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी, अरे अलबेली सरकार, कन्हैया ले चल परली पार। जय हो राधे। मुझे लगी शाम संग प्रीत के दुनिया क्या जाने, मुझे मिल गया मन का मीत के दुनिया क्या जाने, छवि लगी जब शाम की, जब से छवि लगी मुझे
शाम की जब से,
भई बावरिया मैं तो तब से, बांधी प्रीत मोहन की जब से, नाता तोड़ा मैंने जग से,
नाता तोड़ा मैंने जग से,
नाता तोड़ा मैंने जग से,
नाता तोड़ा मैंने जग से।
ये कैसी पागल प्रीत के दुनिया क्या जाने,
ऐसी पागल प्रीत ये दुनिया क्या जाने,
ये कैसी पागल प्रीत के दुनिया क्या जाने,
कैसी पागल प्रीत ये दुनिया क्या जाने।
मुझे लगी शाम संग प्रीत के दुनिया क्या जाने। जय हो राधे। मोहन की सुंदर सूरतिया,
मोहन की सुंदर सूरतिया,
मन में बस गई मोह मूर्तिया।
मन में बस गई मोह मूर्तिया,
लोग कहे मैं तो भई बावरिया, सबसे ऊंची श्याम सुंदरिया। मैंने तोड़ी जग की रीत के दुनिया क्या जाने,
तोड़ी जग की रीत के दुनिया क्या जाने।
मुझे लगी श्याम संग प्रीत के दुनिया क्या जाने। राधे राधे रटो चले आएंगे बिहारी,
राधे राधे रटो चले आएंगे बिहारी,
आएंगे बिहारी चले आएंगे बिहारी,
आएंगे बिहारी चले आएंगे बिहारी,
आएंगे बिहारी चले आएंगे बिहारी।
आएंगे बिहारी चले आएंगे बिहारी।
हे राधे राधे, हे राधे राधे रटो चले आएंगे बिहारी,
राधे राधे रटो चले आएंगे बिहारी।
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभु।
प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद,
नीताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल।
नित्यानंद हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल।
युग धर्म हरि नाम संकीर्तन की, श्रीमती राधा रानी की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे।
And hence, in this manner, Srimati Radharani appeared in Vrindavan Dham, and we celebrated this festival very beautifully. You all participated in this festival. I extend my greetings and gratitude, special gratitude to Makwana family. Just as today, Srimati Radharani appeared today, we pray at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani that her appearance must also happen in the hearts of each one of you. And the nature of Srimati Radharani to love Sri Krishna must progressively increase with each passing day, and your devotion and dedication towards the Lord increase day by day for all times to come. I would pray with such prayers at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So Abhishekam is done, and now we would offer Bhog and also the Arti of Srimati Bhagvatam. But before that, Shri Amit Narayan Prabhu would make certain announcements. The last 2 days are left for the Katha, so the conversation is going on at the banks of River Godavari. We would develop into that and make our life meaningful. Hare Krishna, Radhe Shyam.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीमती राधा रानी के इस आविर्भाव दिन की, जन्म दिवस की आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं, और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी कि आपने आज इस पवित्र पावन दिवस के अवसर पर इतनी अद्भुत कथा श्रवण कराई। बहुत सारे रीजन थे श्रीमती राधा रानी की जो जन्म के, उनमें से आपने कुछ हमें आस्वादन कराए, तो हम धन्यवाद करते हैं। साथ ही साथ धन्यवाद हमारे मकवाना परिवार का, जिन्होंने सुंदर सहयोग किया है, जिसके फलस्वरूप हम आज इस फेस्टिवल को मना पा रहे हैं, इस सुंदर लीला कथा को श्रवण कर पा रहे हैं। सो जैसे प्रभु जी ने बताया कि अभी भगवान की भोग आरती का दर्शन करना बाकी है, सो स्टे ट्यून्ड, डू नॉट मूव। और तो आइए पहले तो हम धन्यवाद करते हैं प्रभु जी का एवं हमारे यजमान परिवार का महामंत्र के द्वारा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। साथ ही साथ हमारे अमृत चर्चा परिवार के जो प्रेमी भक्त है, और उन सभी भक्तों का विशेष धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे जिन्होंने आज इस अभिषेक महोत्सव में सहयोग किया है, पार्टिसिपेट किया है, स्पेशली उन भक्तों का। और कुछ भक्त जो कि लास्ट में ज्वाइन हुए हैं, जिनका नाम हम शायद स्क्रीन पर नहीं देख पाए हैं, तो ऐसे भी कुछ भक्त हैं, मैं उनको नाम उच्चारण करके धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा। वी आर वेरी थैंकफुल टू आरती वनवारी माता जी फ्रॉम दिल्ली who has supported, and as well as हमारे जो श्रीमती गंगा गुप्ता माता जी, the mother-in-law of our नरेंद्र गुप्ता बाबू, who just left a few days ago, उनकी स्मरण में उन्होंने यहाँ पर आज श्री राधाष्टमी के इस पावन अवसर पे अभिषेक सेवा में सहयोग किया है। तो उन भक्तों को हम धन्यवाद करते हैं, और भी अनेक भक्त हैं, उन सभी भक्तों का हम धन्यवाद करते हैं। और आप सबसे इस प्रकार से कामना करेंगे कि आप भी आने वाले दिनों में इस प्रकार से जल्दी अपना नाम हमें देंगे, ताकि हम सब आपको स्क्रीन पर देख पाए। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच सभी भक्तों को। और यस, बिफोर वी मूव फॉरवर्ड, हम धन्यवाद करते हैं हमारे अमृत चर्चा परिवार के उन भक्तों को जिन्होंने इस सुंदर कथा में बैठकर इस कथा का लाभ लिया। जो हमारे यूट्यूब फेसबुक के श्रोतागण हैं, उनको भी हम धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे। सो नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट, क्योंकि हम अभी भोग दर्शन करेंगे, भगवान की भोग आरती करेंगे, और साथ ही साथ भागवत आरती भी करने वाले हैं, और इसी के साथ कीर्तन के द्वारा आज के सत्र को विराम भी करने वाले हैं। तो सभी भक्तों से निवेदन है कि हम सब भगवान की इस दिव्य भोग आरती के दर्शन करें, और दर्शन करते हुए कीर्तन के द्वारा आज के सत्र को विराम भी करें। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। तो आइए सब लोग खड़े हो जाइए, श्रीमद् भागवतम आरती करते हुए भगवान के इस दिव्य भोग के दर्शन करें, जिसे हम मन ही मन ग्रहण करें अपने स्थानों से। सो आइए, हरे कृष्णा।
आरती अति पावन पुराण की,